Thank you, today's chairperson for this session and my colleagues around. I was not so sure what would be the real topic I'm supposed to speak to, but let me say like this. First of all, I am not quite 100% sure that big difference between the LDC and then graduation from LDC to the middle income states. It certainly doesn't have any much definition anywhere, other than that World Bank and probably other multilateral banks, for their own reason, make a distinction, like up to maybe $1,055 if the per capita income, then you are LDC. And if you go beyond that, up to $5,000 or $4,050, you are kind of middle income states. So we are talking about we had been LDC for too long, and from that we are going to graduate to now a middle income states. Now obviously, per capita income doesn't really represent, in my view, the real the Jiban Man of the human being in a country. It must be, when you talk about per capita income and talk about graduating LDC to middle income state, certainly simultaneously the quality of life of the human being or the people has to also increase. Now, that is tied up with a lot of other issues in the society. It is not only, I think, how much GDP is every year. GDP is a number. But number has nothing to do or has to do. Of course, if you want to distribute the wealth, you have to create the wealth, and GDP growth in the economy is most important for creating the wealth. But that wealth has to be redistributed among the member of the society in such a manner so that one group of people is not having the best of life and the other group is having nothing. So it has to be, of course, very easily everybody says inclusive growth. What is that inclusive growth all means? So particularly when you talk about the quality of life, then while GDP growth is important, also quality of life of the people in the country is also very important, and that means the growth has to be equally distributed. Of course, I understand that that kind of redistribution probably is not possible anywhere, otherwise everybody would be equally rich. That immediately tie up with the politics and economic both together. I am not going to politicize the issue, don't worry about that, but politics play the major role. How you distribute the wealth, how much you can create, how you distribute the wealth, and how the society is moving along. Because I have not seen any country where politics is very good, economics is very bad. Or politics is very bad, but economics is going on very well or good. So these are integrated issues, but since our issue is not the politics, our issue is today is the economic development which improves the quality of life as we graduate from the LDCs to the middle income state. I think the way things are right now, one of my colleagues told me earlier that about the banking issue, for example. And there are many, many issues we could talk for a long, long time. But if I have to say honestly, I think that in the way things are going on right now, our bureaucracy is not moving along the line we would like to make them move to graduate us from the LDCs to the middle income states. Second, if you look into other things, our health, system of health, quality of our education, all these are related to the quality of life of the human being they are living in a particular states. previous chief guest has mentioned about the various social indicators. I agree, we have done quite well. But is that really enough for us? I don't think it is enough for us, because we have to restructure the total economy. You want to include the people to improve their quality of life. We have to do a lot of things to improve the quality of life. So it is not only the banking, it is not only health, it is not only the quality of education, but of course all these matter if we want to really graduate from the LDCs to the next step. But honestly, I see that we are going to have a growth, but the number we hear every day, example, during the budget speech of 2019-2020 or financial year 20, in the initial budget speech we had been told that our GDP growth will be 8.2%. But during the period of 20 and 21 budget speech, when the supplementary budget was given, we are told that our economic growth is going to be 7.1%. Subsequent year, in 20, in 21, in February, we had been told that our real economic growth during the 1920 was 4.51%. You should be knowing much better than me. But nobody accepted that. Neither World Bank accepted it, nor IMF accepted it. So finally, about a month ago, we had been told that our real GDP growth was 3.51%. If I am not telling truth, you can correct me. Finally, now nobody is saying anything. So from 8.2%, we had been told in the speech, came down to 3.51%. Last year we had the COVID. This year hopefully it will be less effective. So what I am saying, basically the statistics is fundamentally very vital for any kind of investment we undertake. Where is that statistics? We used to have a bureau of statistics. Now it became a department. So where is what is the right number in this country? It is so difficult for us to figure it out these days. Whether it is GDP growth, or it is per capita income, or it is inflation, or it is the investment. I am not so sure what is right, what is wrong. So I think I am not going to get too much, because I am trying to clear me away from the real political side of it. Otherwise I could be little bit probably more better in saying things. But since I don't want to get involved in politics, true is we don't know in this country right now what is truth. We will certainly, I agree with everybody that we have the right demography, we have the right kind of attitude of the private sector to graduate us from the LDCs to the middle income states. But the kind of private sector you need to do that, I don't think that private sector is there, but I don't think that kind of help is really available to the private sector today because of the political problem. Yes, I'm going to finish. I don't think that we are getting from the political side of the government. I don't think private sector is getting from the bureaucratic side of the government. So we have a difficult road ahead, let me say like this. So I don't know how we are going to solve it, but for Bangladesh, we have to solve it one or the other. And the final word probably I would like to say is I think difference between the government and the private sector attitude is slowly and gradually actually is going little bit further and further away. We used to have, for example, FBCCI. I have my colleague with me here. We are supposed to fight with the government every day. Now the FBCCI, the government, the judiciary, the police, everybody says the same thing. You know, we say, just 1 minute, we say one department of the government is saying that we have produced this year 3.5 million tons of onion this year. Ministry of Commerce says our demand is only 2.6 million. So that means we have a surplus of about 900,000. But if there is a one truck stop, if one truck delayed in the border, the onion price goes up by 5 taka. So if we have a 900,000 tons of surplus onion, why the onion price then gone up? When it goes up, minister says syndicate, bureaucrat also say it is a syndicate, and fortunately our FBCI also say it is a syndicate. So all the institutions, government or private sector, has intermingled in such a way, you cannot figure it out who is telling truth, who is not telling the truth. Thank you.